Brad Guish winning awards as a very top official in this competition, and I'm sure he will have his hands full this afternoon because the Perth Wildcats play that type of defense that will challenge the officials. You have to match their intensity. Kamush. A.J. Ogilvy down low. That's exactly what the
halfway line in the center of the court. I'll be looking because Perth will look to screen early, and how they play that will be a key, especially when they're in transition.
Kings extend the pressure at Kevin White on Damian Martin. Kevin White is in extremely good shape this year.
He looks very good.
Beal up top, looking for Innes. Sean Redditch for three. He can stretch out a defense. Did that against Melbourne last Sunday. If you have to help on one of his teammates, he makes you pay. Kamush off the mark. Way to keep it alive is A.J. Ogilvy.
That's Charles Kamush just trying to get a feel for the game. He hasn't really had a lot of scoring, and he will definitely want to try and get some numbers today.
It's back to him. Jervis just...
Another one, and he has to sit. You've got to be careful when you're playing defense.
Jesse Sanders. Garlip, he likes to go left. That thing went off of his foot.
Not a good set by the Kings. That was a quick shot by Charles Kamush, and then Garlip taking a left-handed dribble trying to go to the basket. They're not the offense. Good steal by Jesse Sanders.
Good start for him, too. Gets his offense going with the hard work on the defensive end. Not many people work harder than him in the competition. Jesse Sanders also trying to get Perth to commit a couple of turnovers. Innes, as we mentioned, the good players seem to have so much time.
Always find the right play, don't they? Sydney, I know I've spoken to Shane, and they actually see the backcourt of Perth as a problem, and that's why they're pushing up the court so much.
Sanders with a strong drive, gaining that confidence from the previous play. A lot of reaching in by the Kings.
Perth as a backcourt. Damien's just coming off a very bad injury, and he's only 4 games into the season, but he did not have a great preseason, so they're going to push up all night long. As a beautiful alley-oop.
Well executed, of course, out of the out-of-bounds play. Perth well drilled, and it helps if you can have somebody up by the square. James Innes. That silenced the crowd. Kevin White gets it back to Garlip. Interior feed for A.J.
Jesse Sanders.
Kamush. Not what Sydney needed. Good defense by the Perth Wildcats with the shot clock winding down. Good help defense. Martin with the runner. Oh my. Innes on the offensive board, showing you his class early.
That is just pure athleticism. That is just a guy up and above everyone else.
Man, how quickly did he get upstairs to keep it alive initially and then tip it in? Sanders. Down low to Garlip. Pull-up jumper from the baselines, pulled down by Redditch. Here come the Wildcats.
Perth at the moment are just pushing the Kings out of their rhythm as Damian Martin comes over the screen. But right now, Sydney are just not in sync at all.
Beal to Redditch on a mismatch. He just has all those moves on the half beat.
It's uncanny. He just doesn't look natural, but it's just so effective. Anything he wants to do, he can take them down low, come out, shoot the three. Amazing player over many years.
Ogilvy up top. Sanders. Kamush. That's short. Just trying to get...
One. This time they got a good down screen. Charles came up, had a wide open look. You can't ask for any better than that. As Brad Hill stepped into his game for his 200th NBL game.
And he runs the floor spot for Sydney. Comes in for Tommy Garlip. And he's going to try and defend James Ennis. Martin goes hard to the basket. Ogilvy knocks it off the rim. Here comes the slash and Brad Hill. He dropped some big numbers in the preseason. Good feed from Sanders for the jam.
Great offense and great pass by Jesse Sanders. Good pull through by A.J. Ogilvy, who flushes the two.
Beal, James Harvey also in. Beal goes hard to the basket, scores over the front of the rim.
At the moment, it's just too easy. Perth are doing whatever they want. They can take him down low, they take him outside. The offensive rebounding, the Kings need to up the ante on the defensive end. More energy is required.
And Beal's been the player that struggled. You want to keep him. You want to keep him down. They'll need another weapon out there for Perth. Hill, one bounce dribble going right, not even close.
He's still texting me while he's on his bed. Matt, relax.
Yeah, get better. All right, back to NBL action as the Kings out of a timeout. Let's see what they execute. Imagine in for Sydney. They back right off of Brad Hill. And Sean Redditch knows how explosive Brad Hill is. He got a taste of it in the preseason, so he was giving him a big cushion.
That's why I love seeing him in the 4 spot. People just have to back off him and he can hit that jump shot.
Ennis goes up for the jam. Trailing him on the curl cut is not a good thing.
No, and there's also got to be a big that's got to bump him. The guy's averaging 27 a game. He's a draft pick, and Miami are looking at him. He's got to be the focus.
Well, he's shooting 50% from the field on the season, 43 from the three-point line, and 84 from the foul line. So he's getting it done as far as being effective. James Harvey for threes off the back of the iron. Beal with the board. Exploring. Martin for three. That's good.
It's happening all over the place for the Kings. Their help defense is awful. They're running around. They're not talking, communicating. You can see that time Jesse Sanders fell over. There was no help. Damian Martin was wide open and hit the three. And it's a foul. Yeah,
yes, in the backcourt.
You can't afford that. Not only that, you can't afford your star players to be getting those, because now they do actually get a normal foul and they've got to sit. As Brad Hill goes nicely to the basket. He's being aggressive, Steve. I like what he's doing. Obviously, it's just not dropping all the time, but it's good that he's being aggressive as Sean Redditch runs that lane better than anyone.
Pass from Damian Martin. Sean Redditch would normally gobble those up. I think he was trying to spend it before he caught it.
Yeah, he was angry at himself too. That's normally 2 points easy for him.
James Harvey into Hill. There's that matchup where the Kings like it. And he gets it up and over the rim. Boy, he is just getting it. A running start to Sean Redditch at the 4 spot. Ennis, that's a charge.
Hill is going at him every time they can.
Had a look at that charge. Good position by A.J. Ogilvy. Redditch read the backdoor cut. Warn the Kings right now. Get a body on him when a shot goes up. He is a very good offensive rebounder. Imagine pull-up jump shot. He's fouled.
Every day. He's there an hour before. He's asking Laurie Watterson to open up the gym earlier before everyone else gets there for shooting.
And Shane Hill says the same thing. There's nobody that outworks Ben Magin. Extended pressure by Sydney. Wagstaff with a good hard cut. Breaks it. There's the help this time on Ennis on the curl cut. Oh, that's a double dribble.
Good defense by Jess for 2 things. One, they're trying to cause the Perth Wildcats to have a turnover. But 2, and most importantly, there's only 24 seconds in the shot clock. If they can get that down to 15 or 14, that really helps.
Garlip up top. Magin gets a wide open look from the corner. That's good. outside the three-point line. Sydney get it within one.
That's not enough talk, and Yu missed his spot there, and Imagine hit the three beautifully.
Innes. Ball's deflected. Good active hands and mirroring the basketball. Sydney calls the turnover. Imagine pull-up jump shot. Slides out. Innes with the board.
Shut down, Sydney. Defense.
Martin to Higher. Innes goes baseline. Nice feed into Damian Martin. Then gets the offensive rebound. He can do it all. I'm amazed at how patient he is, or he was.
Has come down and dominated is an outstanding way to go about things, and just tells me what he's like as a person. He's come down to this league and says, all right, I didn't make it, but I'm going to dominate this league.
Kings meet the pressure. Gets it to James Harvey. Good closeout by James Innes. Knowing the urgency of getting to James Harvey. Imagine. That's a block. That's a good call. Yu out of position.
There's a lot of good reports coming out of Perth for him. I've seen him play a couple of times, and he can hit the shot too.
Imagine. Looks like he's in the flow. Makes it a two-point game. Less than a minute to go here in the first. Nice pass again by James Innes. He's statting in every category.
A lot of players just can't do those passes, and the reason is you've got to worry so much about his athleticism and the way he plays. You're just not expecting it.
Yeah, if you start playing the pass, and that's a dunk for him, it's a better option. James Harvey, terrible pass. Yu picks it off to Redditch. They'll slow it down for one, as Damian Martin had to bark the instructions to his teammates that looked like they were trying to score.
Didn't want to shoot that early, that's for sure.
Skip it to Higher. He lines it up. That was always off the mark. Martin get the offensive rebound, but not enough time to get.
Fourth game in 8 days, he looks amazing.
Yeah, he is really putting on a show, and I know the Sydney Kings were promoting the fact that the Perth Wildcats featuring James Innes, and he has put on a show for these people here in Sydney. And, of course, for the rest of the country tuning in. Jermaine Beal to Yu. Off the back of the iron. Ben Allen pulls down the board. Jared Weeks to James Harvey. And that's what Jared Weeks is in for. He puts the pedal to the metal. Really getting that tempo going.
Interesting by Shane. He's got a few of the younger guys on. He obviously wants to push the ball. That's just money for Sean Rinnage. He's never going to miss that. That's just too easy, and Shane is not happy on the sideline at all.
A four-man just creating. Out in transition, that is a luxury. Imagine spins to the baseline. Good move for him. He goes right at Eric Burden. So Perth got a couple of youngsters in as well. Redditch comes to the middle. Burden looking a little tentative there.
He was. He just got taken by Ben Madgen, so I guess he didn't want to make that. Oh, it is.
An early Christmas present.
He's like, he'd have to look over and say, are you kidding me? That's what he'd be saying right now. As they go to a zone.
Yeah, Shane Hill didn't like that matchup at all. Higher. Good cut.
That's going to be on Greg Higher. He did push it on the left. That's terrible defense by Perth. Ben hasn't had an outstanding preseason we've spoken about. He's got 7 points at the quarter, and that was just one pass offense, and he took it to the hole. Defense has to be better.
And they'll go back to it. Once Sydney do, bang. There you go, right there. What I was trying to say was something that Sydney do very well. They address when a guy is hot and he has a mismatch on him. They go right back to him. Higher. Burden. That's long. Higher on the offensive glass. Burden again. Got the nerves wrinkled out on the first one.
They're pushing up the court so they get those quick shots.
What a coach from Texas that a company had out, Tommy Brackle. One of the best things he says to players is do what you do. And if you're a shooter, be a shooter.
Good advice.
Imagine. Get it into A.J. Ogilvy. He's got a mismatch there. He's double-teamed Sean Redditch.
And do those things.
And the best thing about Perth is they'll draw, help defense, and then rotate it to the offensive players. Ben Madgen knocks one down, but they're so unselfish as a team. And there's Redditch in attack mode, gets it to Burden.
They're Ben Madgen scoring. They look great.
Especially when he's got James Harvey on the other wing. But that just spreads the defense out.
That's when I'm looking forward to seeing Jesse Sanders as well. I think that's when he'll be at his best.
Weeks up top. Waits for James Harvey. Catch and shoot. That's off the mark. A.J. Ogilvy.
Imagine they're bringing Harvey off screens. It just opens up the middle so much.
Kings continue to go with Weeks. That's one thing, playing for Shane. If you're playing well, you'll stay in there. Catch and shoot, one bounce dribble. Brad Hill on the offensive glass. Out to Weeks, James Harvey. Madgen to Weeks, just hesitated, gets all the way to the rim. Quick burst of speed by Jared Weeks, who has just been dominating at the ABA level. Harvey on the steal. Sydney King's pressure starting to take its toll on the Perth Wildcats as they open up a three-point lead. Kings have scored the last 4.
When you're not scoring from the outside, it's stretching Perth's defense that allows A.J. Ogilvy to go to the offensive board, hence why Tom Jervis has come back in.
Boy, hasn't Jared Weeks improved over the last year? And he went from both ends of the floor. Shane just loves how he has a crack.
He played for North this year in the ABA and dominated. He was unbelievable, probably MVP of the league with Kevin White, the two of them, and no coincidence he's doing this out in the game.
To be an overnight success.
Yeah.
For a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Ennis. He's got Hill on him. Going left. Left hand. Good defense from Brad Hill. They kick it ahead to Kevin White. Throws it hard off the glass. Good defense by Perth.
No one better in the league than Damian Martin has a great pass there.
And a block by A.J.
Weeks. Steve, an interesting story. He wasn't even contracted this year. He has fought his way back just by going to training.
And just created an opportunity for himself. James Ennis travels. And 11 points in the first quarter. But this quarter, he has tried to do more. You know, we talked about how patient he is, and he looks impatient the last couple of times he's got the ball.
Well, that's what the Kings want to do. They want to take him out of his comfort zone, so it's good offense, a good defense.
Madgen, pull-up jump shot is straight. He is in the flow. Number 1 on the scorecard, and number 1 scorer here. 2 quarters of play for Sydney.
15 points for Madgen on 5 of 6 shooting, 1 of 1 from the 3. The good old Madge is back, and it's great for the Sydney Kings.
Beal, nice drive. And the Sydney Kings inbound the basketball after the timeout.
Sydney basketball.
Trying to continue this type of play. Play Perth very tough as you check out the field goal percentage, identical at 52%. Three-point shooting, Wildcats shooting it at 50%. Madgen's got it going off the back of the iron. Like to see him aggressive like that. Beal looking for a teammate. Sydney can get Perth to turn it over. Sanders in the open court finds Kevin White. He pulls up from the corner off the mark. Good to see him shooting without hesitating.
And good push by Jesse Sanders as well.
And he played for Manly in the offseason. He dominated as well. And Kevin White got his starting job for Sydney with Madgen being out. Beal on a broken play picks up a good roll on the road. Bouncing off the rim for the three-pointer, ties it up at 33.
Key at the moment, Steve, is offensive rebounds. A lot of second opportunities are causing problems for both teams.
Sanders to Magin. Magin going right. Ball away. Would have been a tough shot. Kevin White. That'll be a shot clock violation.
Like game fitness. So he's now in that predicament. I want him on because we need to score, but also he's got to be tired and I need him for the rest of the game. So tough situation for Shane at the moment.
You know, Shane's a prolific scorer, so he's going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Redditch steps through the trap. Gets it to Ennis. Has all day to line that one up a little bit long. Sanders loses his footing and loses the ball. Ahead to James Ennis. His Euro step. He's
for the season, so want to keep him away from it, but in that instance, he's just so aggressive in the open court.
Yeah, he is.
And he misses his first, so you look at that. Interesting stat from last week, Steve. That's the Kings' 4th foul. This time last week, with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter, the Kings were already in foul trouble, sending the Wildcats to the free throw line a lot more than they have today. That's been a focus, obviously, of the Sydney Kings.
Yeah, he shows he's human. Shoots it at 83% after that miss. Magin. Let's see if he starts to blow. Garlick takes the hit. He'll go to the line. He was into his steps.
With Ben Magin, I mean, he's not going to be on the bench for much longer. That's only purely injury-wise. And Charles has not had a great start to the season, and he's a scorer. And unfortunately, if he's not scoring, there's not a whole lot of other stuff he's given all the time. So he's got to be feeling that.
Yeah, it's a very tough thing when you're struggling and you're the type of guy that they brought in to create his own shot. And when you're struggling, that's never a good option. Beal to Damian Martin, wide open. And he gets all day to shoot those. Shane Heal just throwing his hands up in disbelief.
Well, he's not happy with that because that was just a simple on ball. And then the weak side defender came up and that left Damian Martin wide open. You can't do that. That's got to be communicated.
Kamoosh hesitates. Good tip by A.J. Ogilvie on the offensive glass. Doing the hard work for Sydney. Tied up at 37 again. Jervis. Ennis off the iron. Sanders doesn't have numbers. Skips it to Kamoosh. That's straight. That's good.
That's what he needed.
Bucket for him.
That's what he needed. That's great. Beautiful for him, and I'm sure that's a release that he can now go and let's see some free throwing. Charles Kamoosh.
Again, Ennis wide open. Misses 3 wide open three-pointers in a row. Harvey. I don't know how he got the ball back on that terrible pass.
That was ugly. I do not know, but that was lucky.
Sanders. He's got to get one up. That's off the mark. Credit the pressure of Damian Martin. Beal keeps his dribble alive. Goes baseline again.
She's going to the free throw line. It's 2 points. Potentially, this is a 4-point turnaround for the Sydney Kings.
I understand Shane's argument because the whole idea about how the game is officiated is that you don't get to bump the ball carrier. He bumped him several times.
Yep. That's all he's asking for. Consistency throughout.
Into the game.
Substitution, Ben Magin comes back in.
Steve,
Charles Kamoosh.
yeah, we spoke about this earlier, and this is the thing. Charles got an early foul, which actually hurts him now because now we got another one. So Shane probably wanted to leave him in the game. He just doesn't want to pick up another foul with 30 seconds left in this half.
Get it back to Jesse Sanders. Magin going left. Good pump fake. Long. Garlick keeps it alive. James Ennis checks the clock. Gets through. Keeps it alive. And the offensive rebound. James Ennis on the old glass, making something out of nothing.
Wanted to, but he wouldn't. He may not win games, and he's all about winning games, and you can see that in him. Interesting stat. It was 41-38 last week when they played, and now it's 41-40. Very, very close in halftime, both games.
Yeah, Kings had the 3-point lead at halftime in that game. And Perth with this small lead now. A.J. Ogilvy down low, and again, Sydney to start the game off went to A.J. Ogilvy. And then they go to him again. Kamush on the steal. Sydney with the pressure. They've got 2 quick scores. Great start for them.
Good defense, good push up, and Shane's obviously got into them at halftime. Nice move by A.J. down low as well.
Jervis has been a non-factor in this afternoon's game after coming up very well against the Melbourne Tigers, and there he gets the offensive rebound, something that he did against the Tigers very well last week on Sunday. Redditch going about his business. Offensive rebound by Jervis was what fueled that one.
If any coach is watching and wants to teach anyone they're coaching how to jump stop, Sean Redditch, just get a tape on him. He's unbelievable the way he does that. So effective.
Well, at times he looks more effective after he's picked the basketball up. The floater by Kamush is good.
That's a great move by Kamush, but Steve, I'm not trying to be quick. Get the ball back to AJ. He touched it once. He's only taken 5 shots as he will get that foul, and that's...
Say much, just kind of gave him a look. But, you know, maybe it's one of those instances you shouldn't poke the bear.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking right then. He's already doing enough. We don't need more from him, the Kings are thinking.
Here he comes. Here. Well, it would have been really timely for him to hit that one to make our point. Sanders. Extra pass goes to Sanders. Garlip on the 3-point line. Up short. Jervis with the board.
Not good offense there by the Kings. I know Tommy can hit that, but that's not what you need right now.
Ennis is short.
He's just everywhere.
Beal from the corner.
That's going to be on Charles.
Look, and then this time just maybe a little guilty of trying to do a little bit too much, so maybe it's a good move by Tommy Garlip to get him emotional. He's sure is dribbling the ball a lot more now. Redditch with his floater. That's goaltending.
The one thing that Perth have to be wary of is Ennis to dribble the air out of the ball, and that could actually cause an effect where no one else is in the game. So it could be a ploy from the Kings.
Imagine. Extra pass by Sydney. Good ball movement by Sydney.
Just watching him play, but it's true. You know, nothing else seems to work. You just give him a little bump. You know, nothing that's crazy or illegal or hurtful, but just something to let you know, hey, you're not coming into our house and just going to dominate like you are at the moment. Extended pressure by the Sydney Kings again, and the ball goes to Sean Redditch on the 3-point line, and that's short. That's very unlike him, but the offensive board, he keeps going again, and Damian Martin will set it up.
Those are coach killers, those offensive rebounds. They get the stop, and here they are again. Redditch.
He doesn't miss 2.
There you go.
No, he won't miss 2.
Jervis got the offensive rebound, and it resulted in 2 points. And then offensive rebound by Redditch, and he gets it. That was a lot of physical contact. There, Damian Martin got a piece of the ball. I think that one was on Sanders. They missed it.
They were very lucky not to. Damian Martin was very lucky not to get that one. And now he's The Perth bench jumped up as it's now 48 all, and the Kings starting their offense again.
Well, Martin's one of those players that never complains. And that's rare. That's off the leg of Brad Hill.
Good defense by Damian Martin. As Brad Hill put the ball to the floor, he just got a tip on it, which pushed it onto Brad Hill's knee, and it went out of bounds.
Redditch. Ball's knocked away. Good defense by Brad Hill. Hill. he needs to give that one up.
Yeah, that looked a turnover happening.
Kamush. That's good. It looks like he's got that thing going.
He's in rhythm now. It's all it takes. 1 or 2 to get going.
Jervis pushed way away from the basket. Extra pass to Ennis. That's a charge. Ooh, block.
The ball kicked up to the top, and now it went opposite. And unfortunately, Ben Madgen had to close out hard, and that's where the foul came from. No doubling needed.
Yeah, you got to know the personnel. Jervis was fouled by Ogilvy. You think, you know what? That probably happened.
Yeah, he's been like that ever since he came into the league. And I'd have to agree with him on that one. Yeah, he didn't look like he touched him, and I agree with you as well. He wouldn't complain or say it as loud as he would.
I was talking about the previous play where he got a piece of it and Jesse Sanders just grabbed him with 2 hands so he couldn't go after it.
Yeah, that's true. 2 in 1 play.
Ogilvy on a good pass fake. Sanders. Perth. Get the stop. That was some pretty good defense by Perth out of that zone. Beal's got a good look at it. Ogilvy.
Good rebound by A.J. Ogilvy.
James Harvey in rhythm. Short. Super hustle by Damian Martin. Just made him alter that shot a little bit.
You could just see it wasn't a natural shot.
But they were a little disappointed with how they finished. And
yeah,
they went into one of those scoring droughts.
I agree with you, Steve, and they would have learned a lot from that last week. And also, you just wonder when and if 4 games in 8 days and a lot of travel. That's Perth to Melbourne, Melbourne to New Zealand, New Zealand to Sydney. There's a lot of travel in that. And it's got to get your legs eventually. But they're road warriors, the Wildcats.
They do it year after year. Different personnel, different coaches. A.J. Ogilvy just hanging in the short corner for that bounce pass. The guard to penetrate, draw his man, and a dunk.
I still don't know if there's a guy who's that good in the block. I don't know if I've seen someone as good as him down there. He was unbelievable, and winning that championship with him, he dominated. He was great.
That was a great team that you played on to win the CBA championship back then.
Coached by the great Cliff Martin.
The dancing teddy bear. Jared Weeks with the steal, turns on the gas. There's the jam! Jared Weeks with a 2-hand jam! Wow!
I knew he had it in him, I just didn't know if he'd do it. That was tremendous by Jared Weeks. Great steal, and now the pressure up the court by the Sydney Kings to try and lift the energy.
And that's how you get a crowd rolling. Jared Weeks playing for a contract. Hell, if Sydney don't give him one, I know some teams that like to have that on their team. Woo! Jermaine Beal answers with the 3, and after all that, Perth have the 1-point lead.
If that doesn't get him a second 4-game contract, I don't know what will. He's been great tonight. But Perth answer again, like you just mentioned, Steve. Bad turnover there by the Kings, 2-on-1 here.
Upstairs, oh my, James Ennis.
That's, yeah, sorry, not O'Neill, Beal, I'm sorry. And that was not happy with Shane. And then they get the dunk, and now the momentum goes back with the Perth Wildcats. Look for AJ to get the ball down low after a timeout.
Top scorers in the game. James Ennis with an electrifying 18. Damian Martin doesn't believe Jared Weeks can handle the ball well enough. Putting a lot of pressure on him. Madgen gets Damian Martin off balance.
With only about 11 seconds left, as an offensive player, it's very difficult when you know that on the back of your mind. I haven't got long to shoot the ball.
Madgen. Back to Weeks. Weeks kicks it out to Madgen. Good dribble penetration by Jared Weeks. A.J. Ogilvy keeps it alive. He wins the rebounding contest against Ennis. And it's nice pass to Wagstaff. Another assist for James Ennis as he just accumulates the stat line.
Interesting look there. Great look. Interesting. Perth have gone to a zone here, and it's actually struggled a little bit. Jared Weeks and Kevin White not renowned for their shooting in this league at the moment. So an interesting ploy by Trevor Gleeson.
Ogilvie goes to the baseline. There's contact. Last year, it looked like Greco wrestling.
It was.
It looked like an Olympic sport that goes back centuries.
And you have to ask the question, New Zealand are struggling a little bit so far this season. I know it's early in the season, but they're taking time to adjust.
That was a shock loss. Well, 2 shock losses as they lost to Cairns and Townsville last week. Beal. Tough shot against A.J. Ogilvie, and he gets the soft roll.
We spoke about it before, the penetration. He's looking to penetrate any time he can. I'd like to see him just pull off him a little bit and see if he's got that outside shot going first.
No, he hasn't proved. I know he's a good shooter in college, but he hasn't proved that he's confident to shoot the outside jumper in the league so far. Brad Hill. It happened right in front of the Perth bench, so.
Not the place you want it to happen.
Kevin White struggling to find somebody. Damian Martin gets a piece of it. He slows it down. Wagstaff, a transition 3. That's good. Again, another bucket credited to Damian Martin's hustle.
He's lifted this team this quarter so far. And the Wildcats now have taken out a 6-point lead on the back of a 5-point streak. And no coincidence, Shane's made a few subs here. He needs to get some scorers into the game. The zone's hurting the Kings so far.
Damian Martin never looks tired. All the effort that he puts into the game, he is never blowing.
We've also got to realize that 9 or 10 months ago, he tore his Achilles.
Kamush, that's good. Well, he looks like a completely different player from the first half to the second. That is a big shot for Sydney to get the lead down to 3.
I like what Shane's done. He had every right just to say, you know what, I'm not going to play him. But he kept faith in him, and he's producing it now.
Beal, pull-up jump shot. That is what you want him to do. His penetration has been killing Sydney. Kamush, the contact. I mean, for the most part, I think the referees are doing a good job. That's a bad call.
Yep.
And don't I get self-righteous because I have slow motion replay? Again, Sydney get a piece of the basketball. Brad Hill with the score.
I don't think I've seen Damian Martin have that many, well, whether it's turnovers or deflections, ever in this game. That is so unlike him.
Martin on a good feed to Sean Redden.
Sanders straight to the rim. Why not just go underneath the screen? Damian Martin's not shooting the 3 that well this year. He's not going to shoot it with 15 seconds left. They ran that to get Sean to the block. They did not need to switch that. That's just giving them 2 points.
And he's not going to miss those. Tied up at 65. I think that happens a lot throughout the league, and the coaches, when I see them, they can correct me. But why go over the top of a ball screen on a non-shooter?
On a non-shooter with 15 seconds to go in the quarter where they don't want to take the shot anyway because you could give the opposition the ball back. Definitely not needed.
Sydney with plenty of time to get a good shot. Hill to Kamush. Tough shot. Comes up short. Sydney looked lost on that one. They ran out of time and had to shoot a tough one.
That was tough. Of an absolute avalanche from the Perth Wildcats. They came out and hit a couple of threes, and at one stage it was 21-9 was the run. So the Kings need to learn from that this quarter.
Beal just looking very tough to keep out of the key. Wagstaff on a screen and roll. Redditch loses the handle. Mush with the steal. He doesn't have numbers. Doesn't matter. Somebody needs to take control of the game, and I think Jermaine Beal will do just that. No, he attacks, gets to the rim, and scores. Make him shoot a jump shot.
I can't believe everything's come from penetration. I haven't seen him take a jump shot, let alone shoot one.
Well, he's taken a couple.
Yeah, we've seen why. Yeah.
Sanders to Magin. His floater's short. Higher. Pulls down the rebound in traffic.
Every possession, every point matters.
Big possession.
That's better defense. They switched it a good deflection. That's better defense, and that's how they need to play this now, because he's turned it up in this second half, Jermaine Beal.
Well, in saying that, he hasn't been settling for the jump shot, but he timely hits the three-point basket there.
Steve, we've spoken about the fact that he's not a pure shooter of what we're saying, but shots like that drop when you've had penetration and you're starting in the rhythm. That might have not dropped last week if he wasn't getting the layups like he is today.
Hill from the corner. Redditch kicks it ahead to Burden. And they'll get it back to Beal. He's feeling it. Calls over the screen to Wagstaff. A wide open three, a little pick and pop. Kings dodge a bullet there.
That was a big bullet dodge. That could have been very hurtful. They're already down by 6.
Kamush gets to the rim. Beal's got it on a string now. He is looking.
How different does he look? I know.
His body language is completely different.
And AJ as well. I didn't think it was going to take too long. He can't let this game get away too quickly.
Burden gets it back to Beal. Shot clock to 5. Burden. Boy, he rushed that one, but he was on balance, and he gave it a good look. Straight as an arrow, but long.
Yeah, you can tell he's a scorer, just the way he plays.
Hill with the floater. That's a charge.
I think they need to go back to AJ down low. The outside shot just has not dropped this half as much as it did, except for Charles Kamush. I'd just like to see them go back to him down low.
You're building time to get loud. Defense!
Beal. Good swarming defense by Sidney. Great hustle by Hire. Redditch shoots it right before the shot clock expires. Sidney needs to slow it down and get a good shot. Get it to A.J. Ogleby. Just give him a sniff of it. Harvey with the shot clock winding down, throws it away to Wagstaff. Kamush made Wagstaff shoot
A touch at least down this time.
Back to the action.
We'll see what Sydney are able to execute out of this timeout. Those are the guys that are in foul trouble. Nobody in any real danger. Wagstaff doing a good job on Ogleby. Bush. Perth knowing that they want to go to A.J. Ogleby, doing a good job of fronting the post, doubling down. Beal. And that one missed, but really, he looked confident on it. Jesse Sanders will pull it back out. Harvey. Extra pass to Sanders. He's trying to get to the rim. That's deflected off of James Harvey.
in his arsenal. And at the moment, I think the Kings just probably need to turn it up on the defensive end a little bit. Things aren't going as great as they can on the offense, so what they need is they need some cheap baskets. They need to push up on defense like they're doing now, try and create the Perth Wildcats to get out of their comfort zone, which should then give them some nice, easy offensive plays.
Wagstaff puts it on the floor. A.J. Ogilvy gets caught reaching. To close out on him at the three-point line, he has the ability to put it on the floor and get to the rim.
You got to respect all of them, that's for sure.
Beal. A.J. Ogilvy had to back off. 12-point run for the Perth Wildcats. Sydney Kings offense has dried up. Ball's deflected by Wagstaff. Higher, goes hard to the hoop. Knocked off the rim by A.J. Ogilvy. Still plenty of time left, but something's got to be done on this possession. Scores and stops. Ogilvy, that's a charge.
He's just backing down and making a play, and I don't want to call that a flop, but that just seemed like a little bit too easy. I don't think he hit him that hard.
Well, this is the week where the officials are concentrating on flops. Maybe they'll have a look at that one. Wagstaff switched his pivot foot, got away with that one. Beal's in trouble. Sydney's great effort keeps it alive. Magin has it blocked by James Ennis from behind.
That was all ball.
Magin with the floater, not close. James Ennis in the open court. Throws behind the back. Probably got away with a very loose pass. Wagstaff traveled again. He took about 3 steps. Redditch. He's like a well-oiled machine.
Pick and pop, that's what he just does so well. Sets the screen, pops to the corner. Very hard to defend. And with his jump shot, that's just automatic. 14-point streak here by the Perth Wildcats.
And if he's cold, Wagstaff seems to do the same thing. Pick and pop. Sanders goes hard to the basket. He's fouled, he'll go to the line.
And the Wildcats have scored 12. It's just very hard to win games in a 40-minute game against a very talented opposition like the Perth Wildcats when you have a scoring drought like that.
Well, that's just got to be something playing on their minds mentally for that to happen 2 weeks in a row. Beal, it's straight. It's long. Wagstaff with the offensive rebound. Everything going the way of the Perth Wildcats.
They are just honing in here. And they don't want to win by 10, 12. They want 20. They want 30. They just don't stop.
Yes. In other areas other than just trying to score, I think he was a little guilty of getting frustrated and putting the ball on the floor a little too much earlier in the game. But Garland may have gotten away with a travel. Sanders loses it. Goes back to Magin. He tries to jump in for a foul. Damian Martin. Boy, Perth just exploded to open this game up. Enos can't get the lefty to drop. Sanders has it blocked.
Nothing going right this quarter for the Sydney Kings. Perth on the back of a 4-game road trip have been amazing. They have been phenomenal, and they will stay winless. And the only team that is winless in the league so far.
Shane Hill gets a warning on the sideline. Down low into Ennis, comes up short. 2 offensive rebounds. He's trying to keep it alive. I don't know of too many players that can get up. Dwayne McClain was really good at that. Loose ball, able to get his hand on it and guide it in. Tommy Garlip. I'm not sure if it's so much that or just Kings losing their way offensively in the 4th.
I think it's a bit of both. And oh, showtime.
Oh, and a little showtime reaction afterwards. Well, he dunked that easily. Imagine to Ogilvy. He gets a dunk of his own on the other end. Perth just closing this thing out. Beal. Ennis is fouled by Tommy Garlip.
Nothing comes easy in this foul line to begin it.
Not able to convert. Ennis misses them both. He's stuck on 20. Upstairs to Tommy Garlip. And he's fouled.